Diet starts tomorrow. Podcast starts now. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. I'm laughing as I said the diet starts tomorrow. That's my new catchphrase. I'll tell you what. Let's skip all the formalities. Let me thank everybody for listening and watching. Yada yada yada. Big shout out Sunny Reds. Big shout out Imperial Pizza. It's our Sunday night video, the Monday podcast, as you could probably already see on the video side, maybe even heard in the background. Joe is laughing at my new catchphrase. I've been trying to come up with something, and that's what I landed on. I always say the diet starts tomorrow, and now I'm going to put it
never
on this
does.
show.
It never does it? Definitely doesn't.
What's going on, man? What are you cracking there?
I'm cracking a very experimental beer. This is an Evil Twin. It is called Luxurious Treatment is what it's called. So it's fancy can. It has, it is a lot going on here. It's a sour triple IPA. So it's a sour IPA brewed with lime, dragon fruit, watermelon, marshmallow, milk sugar, the hops of Citra. It's 10.5% alcohol. It's going to have a unique color, I think. Yeah. So
that's like twice a Busch latte.
Yeah, so it's this. You see people on the video. By the way, I'm breaking out the 716 cup from the 716 bar. Did you ever go to the 716 bar when it was a 716 bar?
Once, downtown, right? Yeah, once.
Yeah,
maybe
the
twice.
Pagula's one.
Yeah. I was there. I went there with my wife before we ate there.
Yeah,
it was okay.
It was okay, yeah. I mean, I think I went there a couple times, but I had gotten their glasses that they were selling there, which were really cool glasses. It's got the 716 on it, and underneath it, there's like a football. I don't know if they sell those anymore since it's now single, or not single cut. It's whatever, Southern tier. So, So anyway, that's what I'm about to eat now. Is there something in my? What the hell is that? Something was in my beer. Hopefully, it wasn't bad. But anyways, thank you. For all, we're on tape delay. We're recording this. I'm taking your heat this time, buddy, because we're out of here in like a month, or I'm out of here in a month. We're taping Thursday night, and we are dropping it on Monday. So no Tooch, no Ralph Wilson, none of those other people. And Pat's giving me "I'm going to kill you" look right now, so I'm going to stop talking.
I got a couple things to set up here that I want to let people know right off the bat. This is going to be premiere style on the video side. Sunday night, it'll go up at 9 p.m. But to Joe's point, this is not live. We are pre-recording this a couple days before. Got things going on over the weekend. Monday, if you're a listener to the show, business as usual. This drops overnight Monday morning, like it always will. As Joe alluded to, this is actually the last conversation on the show Joe and I are going to have for a handful of weeks.
I think it's a lie. I think you're gonna need my help. You're gonna message me midway through the week, and you're gonna want me on like your Tuesday show for something, and I'm gonna be like, "Fine, dude." So
as things stand right now, this will be the last time, and this is also going to be the last conversation that you and I have before we are pretty knee deep in the Bills training camp, where I'm excited. You're probably not. Where there's going to be a lot of stuff to actually talk about on the football side with what is happening. And we obviously have an opportunity to do that in a long time. This is the dog days of podcasting, man. Early July, nothing going on with hockey. Free agency's over. Trades are pretty much over. Training camp is getting ready to start in a few weeks. So we're going to bullshit through one more show here. And kind of let me lay it out for you too. I came up with the idea of giving you guys, Joe and everybody who's listening to the show, my Buffalo Bills all-time 53-man roster. We're going to go through it positionally, and this isn't necessarily the 53 best players ever in the history of the Bills. Some of these guys are fits, special teams, much to Joe's chagrin. In some areas, you got to have at least some guys who could play some special teams. This would be if you could create an actual all-time team for the Buffalo Bills, not necessarily just all the greatest players. Joe's got his Mount Flushmore, which we're going to get to today. I got some true and false stuff as well. I'm sure you'll disagree with some of the stuff that that I drop on you here. And I also wanted to do this before. Like I said, we're going to have a little bit, some conversational stuff here before we dive into just Bills talk. There'll be plenty of Bills to come for weeks to come after this. A couple weeks ago, by the time people are listening, this will be about a week and a half or so ago. I had the Bulldog on. You and I haven't talked, at least not on the air since this. I had Bulldog and his son Owen on at Sunny Reds for a live show. I expected to have a good conversation, and it was much more than I ever thought it was going to be. And I had never had a conversation other than a quick greeting before with Owen, the son, in my entire life. So I didn't know what to expect on the actual podcast. I know he's a digital producer in the morning and does a little bit of the radio here and there, but I had no idea what to expect. And the conversation, part of it anyway, was about our children. My son and Bulldog's son are around the same age, which is why I take interest in people like you have little babies who are just getting started right now. We'll get to that in a second too. But anyway, our kids kind of had similar paths in a way with sports, just the pressure, a lot of things going on. And Owen had to stop playing hockey for a few reasons, but the biggest one was because of concussions and injury. And I asked him on the show how he handled that and how difficult it was. I want to play with you here now. I want to play the clip because this also dropped the day before July 4th, and it did well, but I'm sure there's some people who may not have seen or heard it yet. So I'm not going to play the whole show, obviously, but I got about a minute or so clip that I want to play, and then I want to get your reaction, Joe, from this right after. So here's that clip. This is Owen discussing having to stop playing and mental health and head injuries. So, we got the perspective from Dad, and I have some thoughts like when it comes to my son. I'll get to that in a second too. When it comes to an end, from your perspective,
right? How
did you handle that?
I mean, it was tough. It was really tough because I loved almost everything about it as a whole. I loved where I was. I loved Albuquerque was great. I was playing junior hockey in the North American League. I had a great coach. I had a good billet family. My team was fun, and they were good that year. But I kept getting concussions, A, and B, I didn't feel good in the locker room. I never felt right. And I think that weighed on me for a long time in a way I didn't entirely realize. And then it all kind of
came to a head and just like,
And you've got to realize in those moments as a person, like, am I doing what's right for me, for what I'm trying to do? And I wasn't. And you got to make a change when that happens.
Yeah, I understand. Well, really good stuff there. Very open, honest, raw emotion from Owen. And you can listen to it, obviously, but if you see it on the video side too, you can see the fatherly love from the Bulldog too. The little hand on the shoulder, kind of give him a quick rub of the shoulder, trying to take over the conversation at one point because he doesn't know where it's going to go with Owen. And they said on the show that that's the first time they've ever had this talk about that, which really blew me away. I don't know. What's your reaction when you see something like that? I really appreciated him being so open and honest about things.
It was a very good interview. Props to you for getting them two together. In terms of like my thought process, it was mostly, and I've talked about this with you before in the past. I don't like when it comes to concussions, and that's what what Owen had. It's a reason why we've decided like our son isn't going to play like football, like in terms of like obviously football, hockey different, but it's the same. You're getting hit at the end of the day. So, it's kind of like those are like, it's a scary thing. And like, he kind of painted that picture where this was a guy who was like, I don't know the nuances of how good he was in terms of like, was he going to the NHL or whatever, but I know he was up there.
He was a legit prospect. I don't know about an NHL prospect, but he was a legitimate, I could have a career playing hockey in my 20s at least type level prospect.
Yeah. So it's he was obviously up, high on that chain, and to hear that, it's just, it's tough. I mean, I felt my heart breaks for him and his dad, because that's how that, and obviously I hope, I don't know if you guys got into it in terms of talking about that, but I hope he's fine now, like in terms of his head injuries and things like that, because obviously that was a factor. That's a long-term factor that, you don't, when you're in the moment, you always hear this about athletes and CTE, like you don't care when you're playing, you're like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going until the wheels fall off. And then when the wheels fall off and you're retired, then you're like, oh shit, like, you know, you hear all the stories from like watching like 30 for 30s or whatever that you're not going through all that. But you know, it was tough. But like I said, you know, I'm glad he's found his niche in doing what he's doing with the producing the video side of it. I hope he does well in that field. That field is very tough to. It's easy to crack, but it's hard to stay in it. To be honest, in terms of making money, you know, but obviously, you know, he's got his foot in the door, and you know, I think a father-son podcast would be pretty cool. So those two should definitely think about that, because I think that would be pretty rad.
It would crush. That was one of my first thoughts, and I'm like, listen, Bulldog and Shope have been together for 20-some years. I'm not suggesting you break them up, but maybe get them together an hour on a Saturday or something on the radio, or some kind of Parker thing, because that was just a clip. And two things I want to say. Number one, to your point, I saw, and it was near the end, he had a really good Sabres rant, and it wasn't concocted. It was organic. It wasn't forced. And I looked at him at one point. I'm like, holy shit, man. I feel like I'm talking to Bulldog Jr. right now. It was pretty wild. And the other thing I want to say that's important for context and also for Owen is the head injuries were like the nail in the coffin, but he also was struggling with some mental health. He was struggling with the pressure of playing and pleasing everybody, the pressure he put on himself. And that was a large part of the conversation. Again, on some levels anyway, I kind of went through this with Shane. And that's why Bulldog and I have kind of been so connected for the last 5 or 6 years, is because we've followed each other's sons' plights. And I'm going to be honest with you. When you just mentioned your son and you won't have him play football, 15, 20 years ago, I would have said, dude, you're soft. That's what I've said 15, 20 years ago. Today, and this is coming from a father who, I was the guy, I'm not too proud of it, but I'm being open and honest. I was the guy who said, you know what, Shane, you could play through this, man. Your head hurts a little bit. This is your opportunity. You know, you're the captain of the team. Colleges are looking at you, yada, yada, yada. Pressure from within the four walls. That happened. I'm not too proud of it, but and I'm not alone. I know a lot of parents are like that, man. You could get through it. You could do it. You're tough. You're tough. Show them how tough you are. Nowadays, I said this, and what you said just resonated with me. If Shane was your boy's age right now, I would have serious, and I mean serious, reservations about him playing football. And this is coming from a father who kind of lived vicariously through his son playing football, and it was like a lot of the biggest highlights of my life. Honestly, as an adult, anyway, it was the joy and the pride of watching him achieve and play. I don't know in today, with all the information we have and seeing how people get hurt, I don't even know if I would have him play today. So I do find that interesting, and that does resonate with me.
Let me ask you, when did Shane start playing?
His first year, he was either 5.5 or 6 years old. He played.
Oh wow! So he was a tight. Okay, so he was young.
Yeah, he was playing from 90 pounds, Lackawanna Little Loop, 90 pounds and under. Back in those days, the little kids played tackle football. Nowadays, in most leagues, it's flag football till you get to be like maybe 10 or 11, and then it becomes tackle. But when Shane first started playing, he was no more 6 years old.
Gotcha. Why did you want him to play? Like, why? And let me ask you this: why did you want him to play? And the second part of that question is, why do you think parents should want their kid to play? So, you know, in terms of like, you've had your own reasons for why you want him to play, but what was your reasons for why you want him to play then? And what should be the reasons for why a parent would want their kid to play now?
Well, he played baseball first, and he was really, really good. I'm not sitting here trying to stroke my son up, all right? He was a very, it was T-ball, and most kids would hit off the tee, and the coach would pitch to Shane underhand because he'd be smacking the ball all over the place. You could tell he was a good athlete right away. And why did he play football? I don't know. I mean, so we're going back. He's 22 now, so you're talking 15 years, longer than that now. It was just a common thing. You have a kid, you have a boy, they get old enough to play Little Loop, and you put him into sports. I could tell when he was 3-4 years old, he could throw a football pretty good. I mean, by his second year, he was 7 years old. He was the quarterback on the Little Loop team. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. He was good. He was good at a very young age, and that's probably why. And I also, again, I think of a father and a mother, I'm sure, too, depending on what the situation is. They kind of relive being a kid again. It takes you back. It puts you in the time machine, and you get to live vicariously through your kid. In my case, I was a decent athlete. I was an okay football. I played football in high school in Little Loop, but my son was like way, way better than I ever was. So I kind of got caught up in it. I lived through it, and it was fun. But, you know, he got hurt, and he played to a lot of shit. And he got to him, and the pressure got to him. We went to Florida, and it's way, 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 way bigger than Buffalo. And lots of varying reasons. But to your point, I don't know. It was the thing to do at the time. Would I do it today? I don't know. I honestly don't, because I'd be legitimately worried about the injuries as well. So what I'm saying is, behind your back, I'd probably make fun of you 15 years ago for saying, "Oh, my kid ain't gonna play football." Nowadays, today's world, I could totally understand why somebody wouldn't want to play football. I really would, or want their kid, I should say, to play football. But the cool part, listen, this isn't all a sad story. Like with my kid, especially Owen, you know, he achieved a lot. He did a lot. He brought a lot of joy to his own life, a lot of joy to his family's life, did them very proud, friends very proud, a lot of really cool stuff. The good stuff, I think, outweighed the bad. When you were a kid, and we're going to get into some stuff. And again, like I said, for everybody who's watching this, our regulars, this is kind of like the last current Bills conversation.
I call it. I think it's like the season finale of Joe from Queens on Pat's show for me, because this is like the season finale. Because when we come back, we have to, or at least you're gonna get your game face on, and I'm gonna be like, you people are all idiots, panicking about training camp. But anyway, go ahead.
What are a few things? Like I said, I miss watch. I still to this day really miss watching my son play baseball and football. I still do, and he hasn't played football now in 4 years. He plays slow pitch, bear league softball with my guy. Shout out Jay Skirsky. They're playing right now, actually, and I like going to those games because I just still like watching my son do stuff. It's a lot of fun to me. But what do you miss most? What do you miss most about being a kid? Reflecting. I got a couple, a handful of things, but what are some of the things when you think back to you being a child, a young Joe from Queens, growing up in Western New York? What do you miss most about being a kid that sucks now as an adult?
Oh God. The first thing that comes to mind is money. Like that's kind of like I relying on your parents was much better than relying on yourself now. That's the biggest thing. That's the thing I like, I kind of miss. I didn't really, to be honest with you, Pat, I didn't have like this amazing like childhood, like in terms of like I was not very active. I sucked at sports. I loved watching them on TV. I was a couch potato. I just wanted to watch television. I did that when I came home. I did it when I went to bed. That is all I could tell you. Everything that lined up from like, I can still tell you now, like Gilligan's Island was on at 6:00, and then 6:30 was this other show. And then Transformers, when I was a younger kid, was on at 5, and Thundercats was on at 4. Like I can remember that, which tells you exactly like, oh shit, dude, you watched way too much TV. And that's what I did.
Phase.
I went through that. That was my entire phase until it changed when I got my license. I guess, that's when my childhood I felt got better, was when I got my driver's license and I was out of the house. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to go to my friend's house. We're going to play pool. Like, that's probably where I miss the most. And I wasn't a child then. I was a freaking teenager. That's what I miss the most, is just that excitement. Like when you turn 16, you get your license for the first time, and like you're like, I'm out of the house. Like, bye, you can't stop me anymore. In terms of like getting away and then going to, to going to houses where you knew the parents weren't strict, and that's what you did. You were like, oh, they're not gonna give a shit, and that was it. But yeah, in terms of like what I missed the most, it's like the dependency, but like I kind of in a way wasn't thrilled with it. And it was on me. Like I could have went outside more. My parents didn't push me to go outside, or my sister, whoever. It was just like, hey, the summer I was outside. Like we played like Sand-A-Lot baseball here and there, but for the most part, it was just like, I'm going to go watch TV. That's what I did. And that's a big reason why with our kid, our kid turns 2 next week. Mm-hmm. We have not done any screen time with him whatsoever. And part of the reason why is, like, if you look in the studies, it's not good for your kid's development. And that's like where my wife is at with that too. But for me, it's like I don't want this kid to be like me, where I just sat on my ass and I just watched freaking television, and that's it. That's all I did.
It was common when we were younger for that, though. Parents would say, you know what, I'm going to sit my kid on their ass right in front of the television in the living room, He won't bother me for a few hours. That's the way parents were. I don't mind.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I get that, I guess, but like, I take my kids to the park all the time. Like, I couldn't remember going to the park when I was a kid. I take my kid to like the aquarium, the zoo. I probably went to the Buffalo Zoo like twice, to be honest with you. Like, I didn't do that much shit. So that's just part of it.
My parents didn't do shit with me either, man.
Yeah, and like, I mean, and part of it was like they worked a lot, and they were just like, they worked in the restaurant business, and they worked like, my mom worked from like 11 to 6, and then my dad would go to work at 6, and he was working till like 3 in the morning because we served slices to college students. So my mom had one day off a week. It was Sunday, and usually she was exhausted, and I watched football on Sundays. So it wasn't like it was just tough. And, I came out, knock on wood, okay in the long term, but I wasn't active at all. So I don't have like, it's not like I'm watching like the Sand-A-Lot movie and look at them. The kids are playing in the baseball and they're fucking going after Babe Ruth's baseball in the freaking outfield. I didn't have those like kind of memories. It was like, oh, hey, I watched Terminator at like 6 years old because I had the VHS and it was awesome and I loved it. And, and Cobra with your boy Stallone. Like those are all my memories, is watching like 80s action movies and people getting blown up because my parents didn't care what I was watching on TV. So
the biggest thing, Joe, that makes me realize between then and now is like all my spare time now, even forget this podcast, but just social media, Twitter, Facebook, and that's where I spend all my spare time. To your point, when I was a kid, like, well, how did I find time for this? I did go out. I played plenty of sports. I love sports, but I also was so into TV, just like you. I can remember lineups to this day, man. Like two things in particular: Tuesday night ABC, and I'm like a half a generation older than you, but Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company, and Benson. Those would be on Tuesdays. Thursdays, that block of The Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, something else I don't remember, and then Night Court would be on like at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Or actually, it might have been Night Court at 9:30. But that's all I did is watch TV too. And the other thing is wrestling. And I know I still watch wrestling now. I still love wrestling now, but it's just different now. When I was a kid, it was so easy to get work. There was no internet. You couldn't find out everything that happened before it happened. And there was a newsstand in North Buffalo, and I used to ride my bike at the beginning of every month. The couple bucks I'd have to my name, I would go buy The Wrestler, Inside Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, every wrestling magazine I could possibly get my hands on that I would have money to buy. I would read cover to cover, look at the rankings, look at the results from house shows, and it would come to Buffalo about once every month or other month because it was territorial at the time.
Sure.
Man, I lived for wrestling, and I love that shit. And my last 2 years of high school, too. I enjoyed it. My freshman year was a wash. I got hurt. I didn't even go to school after the year. Sophomore is always an awkward year. And for me, junior and senior years were really cool. I don't know. It's just this whole Owen, James, just this whole thing kind of just brings me back because it makes me feel old. There's not a lot of things that make me feel old. You notice I get stupid on Saturdays. I day drink. I do some dumbass shit. I try to stay in my youth in that way, immature and dumb. But the one thing that really makes me feel old is remembering my kid playing sports and stuff like that. But last question, and we'll get into the Bills. So you said he's not going to play football. He doesn't do screen time now, which I actually agree with that. I think in today's day and age, it's a smart thing. Mm-hmm. Do you see any sport that you want him?
Yeah, we want to get. Yeah, I want to get him into soccer, and we're gonna probably get him in like in the early part of the fall, like from classes that they have it in the area. That's the sport I would like him to play in because I don't know why. I kind of think I think he would be good at it because my dad played a little bit, and my uncle actually tried out for the. You remember the Buffalo Stallions? He actually tried out for them.
I got a fun fact about them in a minute. Go ahead.
Good, but yeah. So I think soccer he would be good at because you're just running around. It's a good athletic sport because you're just running the whole time. So if he, it's a good way for him to like burn calories. I don't know, and if he stays in it, I think it's a good way to, stay in shape if he's like 10, 11, 12 years old because you're constantly running. But I would like him to do that, and like you don't need much money. You need a fucking cleats and shorts. Run out there and call it a day.
I was so happy my son didn't play ice hockey, or they didn't want to. Yeah. I should say. Oh my God, what an expensive fucking sport that is. Not to mention you go travel, you get an ice time at 5:30, 6 in the morning. That is a crazy sport to get into. The one thing I will, as much as I hate giving you credit for anything, do think when your boy plays sports, no matter what he plays and no matter what his skill level is, he could be the best player on the team, just another guy, the last guy on the bench. That's not going to matter to you. You know what I mean? It's about going out, enjoying yourself, bonding with kids, learning discipline and teamwork, and all that bullshit. It sounds like bullshit, and it is bullshit in a way, but it's also very, very true. And they really are good life lessons. And I do hope parents who have kids in sports don't put pressure on their kids. If it gets to a point where you know they're going to be something, that's a different story. But just let the goddamn. I see people who have kids who are 7 years old, and I'm telling you, I pay attention. They stink, their kid. And they act like they're going to be the next Barry Bonds. And
I mean, for me, I want him to play sports because I want him to have like friends and be active. Yeah. Like I want him to make friends on these teams. I want to hang out with the parents and get shit faced with them afterwards and
drink 10% beers.
To drink 10% beers like I'm doing now, and that's it. Like that's all I want to do. So
I hear you. Let's do this. I'll take a quick break, come back on the other side. Like I said, one final kind of non-Bills conversation before we swing into things. Anyway, quick break, come back. My perfect Bills 53-man roster and a few other things as well. Be right back, folks. All right, back here with Joe from Queens. That was an interesting conversation. Some people might enjoy it. Some people might have been like, all right, man, shut the fuck up and get to some Bills stuff at some point. But
you know what? I gotta stop you for 1 second because it's been 27 minutes and I have not made fun of you yet for the content circle jerk bro off that you had with Greg T-Bone and the Podfather and Bruce All Lazy and that crew. I tried to listen to like the first I tuned out at 15 minutes, but I just like to say I heard everyone say like what you're not supposed to do when you start a podcast, and I'm like, I do all of those things, and I pick fights with everyone. And like, I remember hearing Bruce All Lazy, and by the way, I only call him Bruce All Lazy because he only has one podcast a week. He's lazy. I'm kidding. I actually agree. Like, you should only do one podcast a week. He's actually has a right, but I have to make fun of him, so he's Bruce All Lazy. But he talked about like, you can't be starting your podcast and going after the biggest guy in the yard. Yeah, you can. I'm going after everyone this season. From day one, I've been going after everyone. I don't give a shit what freaking day it is or my resume. I've been going after them since day one. Bruce exclusive, lazy. Anyways, I'm sure you jerked off all over yourselves. You're like, oh, this is the content, bro, I've been waiting for. All the Cover One people were probably retweeting it, and they were watching it in Eric Turner's fucking library or whatever, his film room. So anyway, okay, I let you do it for 28 minutes. Okay, I'm sure it was.
It was fun. It was a good time. We do it every year, once a year. We did that last Tuesday. If you want to go back, and by the way,
please don't go back. Listen to our podcast, not the freaking Content Bro Summit. First. Yeah, sure. Okay.
All right, let's get into this 53-man roster. Again, I want to be clear here too. Not necessarily the best 53 or the best at every position, but the best roster that if I was building a team right now that was actually going to go out and play on Sunday for 17 weeks, the best players in roster fits and special teams, like I told you, is at least a small factor. This will be my team. We'll go positionally. We won't take too long, especially with some positions. And you can react if you want, or tell me if you would do something different personally if it was you. But again, I made a 53-man roster, certain players, enough at certain positions. And we'll start with the easiest one because this was a debate. I take that back. Quarterback, I have two. Most NFL rosters, roster two. Josh Allen is my starter, and Jim Kelly's my backup. But I'm going to tell you this. I consider leaving Jim Kelly off this team. And it's not because Jim Kelly's not the second best quarterback. Some think he's the best quarterback in Bills history. But it's not because he's not the top two. It's because how's Jim Kelly going to be on the sidelines as a backup with the ego that he had, especially when he played? How's Jim Kelly going to be as a bench player? Is he going to be an issue in the locker room? I'm telling you, we're going to have this exercise. I want to take it serious. I thought I was concerned that Jim Kelly could be an issue in the locker room. So I consider Drew Bledsoe as my QB2 instead, because Drew was a backup before and he handled it fine.
What? Well, hold on. Drew didn't handle it very well at all. He was depressed out of his mind when he lost his job to Brady. I think you're gaslighting it a little bit.
But then he go to wasn't he a backup at Dallas?
Yeah, and he hated it. He was miserable. Like he talks about it. He actually
imagine how Jim Kelly would be.
Okay, no. First off, okay, I like your logic here. Why the hell wouldn't you just go with Frank Reich then? Because we know Frank Reich, who was really good when he played. Why did you just go with him? Because he has no ego. He loves Jesus too. They would get along splendidly.
They would. If Josh went down with a torn ACL in week 1, your season's over. Even with Frank Reich.
No, it's not. What the fuck are you talking about? With Frank Reich and this team you've constructed, dude. They were the Bills won like 3. You're insane. You obviously had your head up your ass during Content Bro when you came up with this topic. No, come on, dude. Frank Reich's a good quarterback. I mean, he did well when he played.
All right, if this was your team, so you would go Josh Allen and Frank Reich. Those would be your quarterbacks.
Yes, if you're telling me that, okay, Josh Allen's the man, and I do think he's the best quarterback in team history, I'm not going to have Jim Kelly as my damn backup. Okay, that sounds like a disaster, and I'm good. You have to have, and Frank knows the system. He can deal with it. You know, Frank used to always probably drag Jim Kelly out of bars when he had one too many. And, like, you know, he's he would be great with that. So, no.
Okay. That makes sense.
I get what you're saying. Like, okay, if Josh blows out his ankle and you want the best backup, okay, fine. But he hasn't blown out his ankle yet. And let's not think like horribly like that.
That's fair. And I don't want to be a hypocrite either because I did say it was about fits. And I did say, I was explaining that I really struggled with that one. So, all right, so right off the bat, we disagree. And I'll tell you what, if we're in the war room debating this, I would give that edge to you, and I would actually sign Frank Reich, and I would cut Jim Kelly. I'm not pushing back or taking issue. I think Josh Allen is the most talented quarterback ever. I'm not ready to say that he's the best yet, man. You got to get to one Super Bowl, I feel.
So why don't you have Jim Kelly start over him then?
Because I just think Josh is a better player, but I don't think he's the best quarterback ever. Not yet. He will be.
That doesn't make sense. He's the better quarterback, but he's not the best quarterback. What the fuck are you talking about?
It does make sense. You could be a better player, but you say, if you said right now, who is the most talented quarterback in Bills history, I would say Josh Allen. If you said who's the best quarterback, and the best to me is also about accomplished, it would right now by a little bit be Jim Kelly. I'm sure a lot of people would disagree. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one here. Running backs. I got 4 running backs. 3 halfbacks and a fullback on my team. Okay, so my starter is Thurman Thomas. And the reason why I have him as a starter is just because of his flexibility, man. Run the ball, great out of the backfield. He would be a great weapon. My backup, O.J. Simpson. I mean, you got to have O.J. Simpson on your team, right?
Hide your wives, but yeah, sure, yeah.
So that's my 1-2 punch. It's Thurman and it's O.J. Simpson. The third running back who is not going to get a lot of run. He might have to learn how to play little special teams or at least, only play if there's an injury. Shady. LaShawn McCoy's my third halfback. And I think that one might be a little controversial because a lot of people would say Fred Jackson or Marshawn Lynch, or, a couple other guys. You could say Joe Cribbs. There's others. And then my fourth one, because I want a bigger fullback type, and I'm going back to the early 80s for this, but Roosevelt Leaks. And I do remember him. He was a big, solid fullback. So I'm going Thurman, starter, and my backs are Thurman, O.J. Shady, and Roosevelt Leaks. I consider Fred Jackson because he'd be fine being RB3 too. Kind of, again, team fits, personality, probably more likely to contribute on special teams than LaShawn McCoy. I don't know, though, man. And fullbacks, I took a look at Patrick DeMarco and Sam Gash, but I landed on Leaks. What do you think?
No respect to Carwell Gardner or Jamie Mueller. Come on, man.
Jamie Mueller was a fullback for like 2 years.
Well, Carwell was there for a while.
Carwell was pretty dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the one running back? Damon Shelton. He was really good. He made the Pro Bowl, I think, and early.
And if you want a guy who's going to catch a gazillion passes, who's technically a fullback, Larry Centers was a fullback too. But
dude, do you know Larry Centers I think I was actually thinking about this the other day randomly. He has the most catches for a Bills running back in this season ever, which is kind of crazy because it's like he was there for that one shitty year, that horrible 2001 team.
Yeah, kept getting dump offs.
Yeah, that's all because that's all they checked down to. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, I would definitely put Shady there. I'm not having a fuck. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Fred. Like, look, we've had this argument or this discussion about Fred. Like, Fred's about longevity, and he's just, he's never had like that great season. He's been like that change of pace guy, 700 yards, and like everyone loves him because he was there for a while and he loved Buffalo. But give me a break. I would take a lot of other running backs, and I like Fred, but I'm taking Willis McGahee over him. If I have one game, and I'm saying over Fred, yeah. If I have one game and they're like, hey, pick these 5 running backs, I'm picking Willis McGahee. Willis McGahee was a better running back than him. Marshawn Lynch was a better running back than he was. Travis Henry was kind of a better running back than he was. I'm sorry about that. I like Fred. I get it. I think most of his popularity is about nostalgia, or not nostalgia, personality, him being like a really nice guy. I get all that. But if I have to win and I'm putting my best guy like on the field, he's not cracking the top 5 for me. So.
Oh, I agree. Listen, I think LaShawn McCoy's better than Fred Jackson. There's no question about it. In fact, I got him on that list. I just, again, going to Fitz, Fred Jackson being an RB3 who could contribute on special teams, I think he's more likely to play that role better than LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy's on your roster, and you're saying, all right, well, if something happens to Thurman and OJ, he's the best running back, and he'll go in and he'll play. Let's move on here. Wide receiver. Now, I'm going to say this too. For me, this was the easiest one. For me, I got 6 receivers, so I'm rostering 6, okay? My starting 3 is Andre Reed. No explanation needed. Eric Moulds, kind of ditto. I mean, he's a big body receiver, make those tough catches, get down the field too. And Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs would probably be the guy who was a little bit inside, a little bit outside, just like Andre Reed. So Moulds, Reed, and Diggs would be my starters. And then the 3 backups, my 4th receiver is Stevie Johnson. Great route runner. Again, he can play inside, can play outside, pretty good at getting down the field. So he would be on my team. I'd have Lee Evans as my 5th. Lee Evans is a burner. I love it. You got to have a guy who can get deep. And Lee Evans, if he could do one thing well, it was get deep. And then my last one, you may hate this, but to me, it's a lock. It's special teams. My ace, Steve Tasker. You got to have somebody in special teams, and few players have ever been better at special teams. Plus, he made a couple of plays on offense here and there. So Reed, Moulds, Diggs, Johnson, Lee Evans, Steve Tasker.
All right. Receivers. Yeah, I mean, it's let me throw some names at you. James Lofton, why not on this list? He was awesome, deep threat. I can make the case that the K-Gun offense really started clicking when he got here. Sure. And he was like that opposite, because Andre Reed didn't have a secondary wide receiver, and James Lofton is in the Hall of Fame. Why not James over Stevie or Lee?
I mean, listen, because he was still good when he was a Buffalo Bill, but he made the Hall of Fame because of what he did in Green Bay. But it's a fair point. I mean, he was a burner. He's how you got down the field. And you're not wrong, by the way. If you're old enough to watch the K-Gun Bills, James Lofton kind of was the engine that really, the underrated engine anyway, that really made that offense go. I could be convinced to take Evans off. It would definitely be Lee Evans who comes off, though, because I want that polished route runner like Stevie Johnson as my backup.
But you have Diggs, okay, I guess. But you have Diggs and you have Reed as your guy. You don't have a lot of, Reed's not. You have Moulds. I don't know. I would probably keep Lee, but I would take Stevie out and put Lofton in. I think Lofton here, like he was great. I mean, you and I disagree. I mean, his numbers were pretty good for that era. He was very good. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl. I think in '91 he made it. The other guy they kind of popped in my head, and you watched him play. I didn't. Jerry Butler.
He's pretty good.
Did you think about him at all?
I looked at him, but I didn't really take a strong look at him because I don't think he's quite on that level. The one thing I'll go back to Stevie and say, too, I mean, you got a Josh Allen, and the best receivers Josh Allen's had throughout his career are the guys who get open quick, the guys who separate off the line, and Stevie Johnson excels at that, or he excelled, I should say, at that. But I could be convinced to put Lofton on. All right, tight ends. This one's a mess, dude. I got 3 tight ends. Pete Metzelaars, Jay Remersma, and Charles Clay. And God, this position stinks for the Bills historically. Maybe Dalton Kincaid will change that 5 years from now. But right now, this position perennially has just been garbage, man. I consider Dawson Knox over Jay Remersma. I don't think Jay Reams was even that good, or Charles Clay. He underachieved here a Bill. But anyway, yeah, look, you got to be weak somewhere, even an all-time team, and it's definitely tight end here, man.
Yeah, I would have took Jay off of it and Clay off of it and put Kincaid and Dawson, but that's not saying much. It's not a good list. I mean,
no, it's not,
you know, Jay, from what I remember, Williamsburg couldn't block worth it at all. And he had a couple okay years, but like he was like a 40 catch guy. You know, Charles Clay, I thought was all right here. I would pick Clay over Wiemersma. I thought Clay, you know, considering that the team didn't really throw all that much, and Wiemersma was on a team with Bledsoe and he was on with Flutie Johnson, you know, a couple different times. I would have probably had him on there, but yeah, it's always been a shitty list.
Yeah, it is just absolute garbage here. All right, offensive line, I got 9, carrying 9. My starters, I got from left to right. I got Jason Peters. I got Joe DeLamielleure, Hall of Fame guard. Ken Hall is my center. I got Reggie McKenzie, another Hall of Famer, as my right guard. And right tackle, not so easy, man. But I got House Ballard because he was a right tackle. And then my backups, Deion Dawkins, obviously, he would be my backup left tackle. Reuben Brown, he's an interior backup. He made the Pro Bowl a gazillion times. Never felt like he really earned it, or at least half of those anyway. It was just really weird, Reuben Brown's career. But anyway, all the Pro Bowls, his longevity, he's on this team. I got Eric Wood on this team, and the reason why is because Ken Hull's your center. Eric Wood's your backup center. You need a backup center. Plus, he also can play guard. He played guard his first year in the league, former first-round pick. So the versatility of Eric Wood gets him on this roster. And then the last guy I got on the offensive line is Will Wolford. Will Wolford was a stud tackle for the Bills. You can make an argument that he should be the starter over even Jason Peters. And if he played the right side, he'd definitely be the starter over House Ballard. But anyway, he's going to be my backup, kind of like just an extra guy on the offensive line. So that's my 9. I consider John Fina big time. Considered a couple other guys because of the versatility, but that's my 9, man. That sounds pretty right to you.
Did you think about Jim Richter? I think he's on the Hall of Fame. Jim Richter is he?
He is.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't make the list because he was really versatile. He was a good guard. He played for a while. He was there for like 12 years. He was really good.
Look, I think the Bills' offensive line is underrated right now today. And I think historically the Bills have had an underrated offensive line, except for, like drought stretch was for the most part pretty bad.
They were like the 80s, 90s, it was good. Then today it was good, but that the drought, as you said, was pretty shitty for long.
Yeah, it was Eric. Eric was for a long time probably the only good lineman on that team. Richie Incognito's crazy ass was pretty good too for a while. But I
Levitri was pretty good.
Yeah, Andy Levitri. Joe Devlin was a starter forever, and he was versatile. Jerry Ostrowski played like 4 different positions on the offensive line.
He played a bunch.
And he played for, like a decade. So that's what I'm talking about. Guys like that make rosters, even if they're not the best. But anyway, that would be the offense, all right? So now I'm going to shift to the defense. Some of these were pretty hard. Defensive tackle, I got 4 that I'm carrying. My starter, Ted Washington, is definitely my one-tech guy. I got Fred Summerlis or Kyle Williams, either or. It doesn't matter which one of them start. And Pat Williams is my 4th. It's the Sean McDermott rotation of doom. It doesn't matter who's starting because they're all going to play 45 to 55% of the snaps. But I got Ted Washington, Fred Summerlis, Kyle Williams, Pat Williams.
All right. Let me think, are there any, Ed Oliver, you didn't think about him over Pat Williams at all?
No.
Pat
Williams was one of the best. Pat Williams was one of the best run defending defensive tackles in the NFL. I did think about Darius for a little bit, and there's one other guy too I really liked, Sam Adams.
I thought Pat Williams was very good, but I don't know if he had his best here. I thought he was better in Minnesota, but I guess he was pretty good here. Obviously, he was great.
When that for sure, while they had him and Ted, man, you were not running on that defensive line, dude. It was
Yeah, he was a really good, kudos to John Butler for finding him. He was a late round pick or he might have been undrafted, but he was good here. I feel like that's pretty spot on.
Yep. All right. Defensive end, edge guys. I got 5. I got to say Bruce Smith, Mario Williams. Those are your 2 starters. And that's easy as hell. Bruce is one of the all-time, if not the all-time best pass rusher Mario Williams was a very good all-around defensive edge. He could play the run good, too. So those are my starters. My 3 backups are Bryce Pop, pure pass rush guy. He's my third down specialist. Greg Rizzo I got on this team. I think he's a great run defender. He's 5 years in now. He's going into his 5th year. He's not going to get to 10 sacks, but he doesn't have to on my team because I got Bruce, I got Mario. Groot will come in there and stop. He'll set the edge and stop the run. And then my last one, you might laugh at this, but I have 2 guys on this team.
I get it. You want special teams. I get it. Okay, go ahead.
Mark Pike. Remember Mark Pike from the Super Bowl era Bills? He was an absolute stud on special teams.
Rest in peace. He died.
Yes. That's my 5th. So Bruce, Mario, Bryce Pop, Greg Rizzo, Mark Pike. Probably much to your joy, I did not include your boy, Phil Hansen.
I was actually going to say Aaron Schobel's not on there. Why not Schobel?
He was such an irrelevant player. He had the most irrelevant numbers, I think, of any Bills player, maybe ever.
You never liked him. All right.
What?
Who else? What about? You know what? I'm gonna make an audible because I can do what I want. I'm putting Jerry Hughes in instead of Greg Rousseau.
You know what?
You
That's not terrible.
Yeah, you forgot about Jerry Hughes. I could see the expression on your face. You forgot about him, dude. Come on. Like, Jerry Hughes is at least 10 sacks. Greg Rousseau has not, and Hughes was good here. Leader, kind of a dickhead. I like Jerry Hughes.
He'll good for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty every week.
Oh, yeah. I remember your boy Sully used to complain about that all the time because he hated Jerry Hughes because he masturbated about Chris Kelsey.
Well, I'll tell you this, as I look it up here on the podcast in real time, man. So I just told you how I think Aaron Schobel's had the most emptiest stats ever with the team. Jerry Hughes didn't have great numbers with the Bills. He was here for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he had
2013 to 2021.
You know what? You're right, dude. I'm wrong. I did that. Right. This is a neglect on my part. He had back-to-back 10 sack seasons.
Yeah, I mean, that
2013 and 2014.
That 2013-2014 squad, they were like a stat. They were the film bros would have hated them because that was all sacks all the time, and I would have been like, this defense is great, and they probably would have been like, no, they're not setting the edge, and the pressures aren't enough, and
I remember Jerry Hughes' last year was 2021, and he only had 2 sacks, and that's my lasting memory of him. But yeah, looking back, that
he had a lot of pressures. Like, fancy stats people liked him a lot. Yeah. But I'm putting him on here, so I'm glad you see this. But here, let me just say this, because this is why I hate you.
You take it off. You said a Groot, right?
Yeah, Groot. But let me see, because you're annoying because you haven't picked a 4-3 or 3-4 defense, which annoys me because you have Bryce Pop as a defensive end. We all know Bryce Pop is a linebacker, and you're cheating the system a little bit here because
I'm going
you
4-3.
have okay, 4-3.
Bruce and Mario are the edges. Ted Washington and Kyle Williams are going to be my 2 interior guys.
All right.
Or maybe Fred Summerall instead of Kyle Williams, but I like Kyle Williams a little bit more.
Okay. All right.
So plus I remember him better. So I'm still going 4-3. All right. So that's the defensive line. Linebackers, I got 6. This was kind of hard. Cornelius Bennett, London Fletcher, and Daryl Talley are going to be my 3 starting linebackers. So Bennett and Talley on the outside with London Fletcher on the inside. My backups is going to be Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, who better learn special teams, but what a freak-ass athlete he was. And look, he was really good at the end with the Buffalo Bills, and he also was fast enough to play on the outside, and he played Mike. So he's my 5th, and my 6th, I'm going back to the special teams well again. Sam Rogers is going to be my 6th linebacker. 5.5 years he was a starter for the Bills, and he was a good special teams player. Although, if you can remember the fucking miracle, the Houston throwback, it was Sam Rogers.
So you're having that guy as your special teams guy when he was on the field for that.
If he doesn't fall for Whitecheck's pump fake, Sam Rogers doesn't let him get that ball off across the field to Dyson or what the hell that goddamn receiver was. But anyway, that's my 6. I considered Takeo Spikes, and I considered Jim Haslett. And Terrell Bernard, I need to see more from him, so no Terrell Bernard. But that sounds pretty reasonable, right? Bennett, Fletcher, Talley, Matt Milano, Tremaine, Sam Rogers.
I would have had Takeo Spikes on here. I probably would have kicked off Sam Rogers and been like, we got enough special teams. Or I would have picked off Fletcher and been like, Fletcher was good, but he had a bunch of tackles. We always had him like 5 yards down the field a little bit, it felt. I would have had Spikes on there. I mean, he's a game breaker, and I think he could have played all over the place. Trying to think, Sam Coward, you don't have on here. Why?
He got hurt, didn't play long enough.
Oh God,
he still might be hurt from that injury. Like fucking
that poor guy, man. He was so good, and then he was so good, and then it's funny how, or like sad how him and Spikes kind of had the same trajectory of their careers. Like they got these fluky ACL injuries, and then they never can come back, and they were so good.
Was it Damian Covington or something like that, a linebacker
who died? He got shot actually, but he got murdered. Jesus. Damian Covington. Yeah, so I don't know. His team then. Yeah, yeah. Rest in peace. But
that's terrible. I thought maybe it wasn't an injury.
Well, Gabe Northern played special teams. He was good. I liked Gabe Northern. He had special teams. Who else was it?
I tried to reach out to him when I first started my podcast back in 2018, 2019, and he put me on Front Street, man. He didn't want nothing to do with doing the show, so he's.
I don't blame him. What would be on this fucking show for? What about Shane Conlon? You didn't want him on here, Rookie of the Year?
No,
I'm sure in South Buffalo they all love him down there.
I was gonna say if Conlon's on my team, you won't want to watch this team because he'll probably wear a mega hat on the sidelines and.
Yeah, I'm not having that happen on my team, but go ahead.
Maybe that's why, by the way, I don't even know if you know this, but Jay Remersmer, I always say his name wrong.
He's a congressman, right?
A big time Republican one too. But
great.
Yeah. So maybe you just intuitively.
A lot of guys like that on the team, on the Bills. Alumni and today. Love that stuff.
All right. Corners. Got 6. My starters, this wasn't easy, all right? Because there's for 3 or 4 starter-worthy corners. But my starters are going to be Nate Odoms and Nate Clemens, just because Nate Clemens he was that take it to the house, big play machine. My slot corner is going to be Teron Johnson. Antoine Winfield is my 4th, who's very much in the mix. Terrence McGee, because he's a good corner, and there's your kick returner and punt returner, too, for your team right there. Probably the best one ever in Bills history. And then my last one, a good player, can play special teams, was around for quite a long time, underrated player, I thought anyway. Plus, he's a Notre Damer on my team, Jeff Burris. I think that Jeff Burris would be on my team. And there's one corner who's on the team, the Bills right now, who a lot of people would think I snubbed by not having him on. That's Trey White, of course.
Benford, I'm surprised they didn't have him on.
He's trending that way. So Spencer Brown, if we do this in a few years from now, but right now, not yet. Trey White, if he's not a starter, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't know special teams value. Antoine Winfield could do anything.
Special teams.
Hey, man, you got to punt the ball once in a while, I think.
No, not with this offense. You're punting the ball at all. I would say I'm not putting Jeff Burris on there. He was all right punt returner, but he wasn't. He was okay. I would put Thomas Smith over him. Thomas Smith was a really good corner. He was here from 93 to 99. He was here for 6 years. Burris left a little bit earlier than you were let on. I think he left after the free agent 97. I think he was left. They never re-signed him. He went to fucking the Bengals. But I would put Thomas Smith there.
Who did I say? Jeff Burris?
You had Jeff Burris. Yeah,
he was a Bill for 4 years. Right.
4 years. Yeah,
he was here a little bit longer.
Yeah,
what about Thomas Smith? First round pick. By the way, former guest of Talking Buffalo, Thomas Smith.
You snubbed him, dude.
That is a big time snub because unlike Gabe Northern, he did do Talking Buffalo. I had him on for. Okay. Pretty interesting guy too, man. Walk on at North Carolina, became a first round draft pick. Didn't want to play sports when he was young. I remember that. All right, so anyway, that's your one change, and your Burris is out, and you're gonna put in Thomas Smith. Okay, I can live with that. Last position here, safety. Again, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of easy. I got 5 safeties. I like my backups as much as my starters. My starters are Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Okay. My backups are Jarius Byrd and Henry Jones. Henry Jones was one of the more underrated Bills players ever. And then my 5th safety, I went back and forth. I picked Leonard Smith. Um, George Wilson was very much a consideration and a guy that could play special teams. Kurt Schultz. So good. I don't know if it's the deepest pool of safeties, but holy shit, dude. You want to talk about a low-key straight to your team? Hyde, Poyer, Henry Jones, and Jarius Bird, man.
Yeah. You know who you're missing? And I don't know if he was a cornerback or safety. The guy that's on the Wall of Fame, Butch Bird or whatever his name is. Isn't there a Butch guy?
Yeah. He was on my show, too.
Yeah. You're just snubbing all your guests, bro.
No,
like
he wasn't on my show. He wasn't on my show. Bird, who played for the Chargers.
Okay. But they had a really good cornerback on the wall.
Jarius's father,
yeah.
Joe Bird, was on my show.
Anyway, that Bird guy should be on here. The other Butch, whatever the hell his name is.
So
excuse me.
You take it off Leonard Smith then.
Yeah, your boy, Mr. Leonard Smith, who I've hinted to it. If anyone wants to know, DM me like what happened to him during Super Bowl 26. You know, I'll feature the inside info on that. But yeah, he was trying to think. Okay, who we got here that you could put in? Kurt Schultz. You don't want Kurt Schultz?
I considered him. He's on my list. I can't have a helmet like Chris Kelso on my team either.
Mark Kelso. Yeah, I don't
even know his name.
Mark Kelso was also on my shit list. Like he's on the Phil Hansen shit list. Like he had picks, but man, he was the most unathletic safety I ever saw in my life. And Mark Ingram like deked him out when Mark Ingram made that 13-yard, whatever the hell that pass was. Like Kelso had his grasp and he just deked Kelso out, and Kelso was dead. And he was just. I think anyone could deke them, and he was an annoying broadcaster too. So
all right? So if if Kelso was maybe the most annoying or kind of stat filled, but not a good player, what player? I'm going off script here. Yeah. Name me a Bills player, and we'll start with this century. Anyone from this century who you almost had an irrational dislike for. I got a player.
Oh, I have one too. Off the top of my head, I gotta go with Chris Kelsey. I couldn't fucking stand him.
Same. That was my guy too.
Yeah, I was like, why are you?
How he's on this team?
They kept extending him, and I was like, why are you extending this guy? And like, they made him an outside linebacker, I think, at one point, and like, I was like, why are you extending him? He doesn't fit, and he kept getting extensions, and like, Ralph must have loved him. Maybe like he saw him in the fucking lunchroom, and they talked about World War II history or some shit. I don't know, and.
Do you know what Chris Kelsey's claim to fame is for me?
He had the interception against Dallas. Go ahead.
No, nothing on the field. He is the first Bills player that I can remember that got shit on every week in the age of Twitter. Like by 2009, 2010, when Twitter was starting to become a thing, every Bills fan was shitting on him. And like
I was one of them.
Yeah, man, just brutal. Anyway, all right, so we're set with their team, but I do have three special teams. You got to have a kicker, punter, and a long snapper. My kicker is Steve Christie. My punter is Brian Moorman. And my long snapper is Reed Ferguson. And this is a legit question. I don't know the answer. I'm asking if you know this, or if anyone who's listening without cheating, if you know this. Name me another Bills long snapper that's not named Reed Ferguson, because I literally can't remember.
Oh, my God. You're so terrible. Adam Lingler. He was the guy from the Super Bowl era. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, and I'm putting him over fucking Reed Ferguson and his weird toxic. Like he has a terrible banner that's like bring back masculinity or some shit. I'm good with Reed. I know everyone on Bill's Twitter thinks he's the fucking man, but yeah, I'm fine with him. Right. Adam Lingler was their long center for like, dude, the entire like 90s. He was their long center basically. I'm trying to think who else they had. Like
I'm cheating now. I'm looking it up.
No, but it was Adam Lingler. Then they had like Albright, I think was a long snapper.
Ethan
Albright. Yeah. I don't know how long he was there for. Reed got here, 2018? Who the hell was before him? Was it Groot? Or not Groot, the Grow guy. Remember there was a Grow guy? He was the 72.
I don't remember. I can't find everyone, but I found a list. Adam Lingler, was on there. Here's a couple I'll throw at you. Garrison Sanborn. I remember.
Oh, yes. He was the magician guy. He had like magical. He could do magician because like he was abused or something happened. Like his dad may have died when he was a kid or some shit. I don't know. And he had to go to like magician. Like he went to magicians or whatever to get over it or some shit. I remember him.
Trey Junkin.
Oh, they had Trey Junkin? I remember Trey Junkin. He was the guy. I don't know if you remember this game. It was like the 2002 wild card game between the Giants and 49ers. And like, it was when the Giants were up by like $1 billion. And then the 49ers came back and took the lead in the playoffs. And then Trey Junkin, like, they tried to do a chip shot field goal, and he just did a shitty snap. And they had just picked him off the waiver wire like that week. And then I just remember after the game, he was like, that was like fucking terrible. My career's over. And I was like, okay, dude, I was like, that's a way to go out, buddy. Anyways,
Trey Junkin was the long snapper in 83 and 84.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mike Schneck, he was the Bills long snapper in 2005 and 2006. Let me see if I can find a couple. John Dornbos.
That might have been the magician guy, maybe. He might have been the magician guy, not Sanborn. One of them was like a magician guy. Like his dad was murdered or something. I don't fucking remember. I'm sure if Tooch, if we were doing a live thing right now, Tooch or Ralph
I'm looking him up right now. He's a professional magician who has performed in Vegas, Hollywood, and America's Got Talent.
Yes.
God damn.
Wow.
All right,
yeah,
well,
so
anyway,
that's the guy.
He was the Bills long snapper for 2 years. I
remember
Moore,
him. ESPN did it. Oh, Dave Moore was a snap, the tight end. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Dan O'Leary. Wow. I don't remember Dan O'Leary. 2001. He was only a long snapper.
Yeah, wasn't Dan O'Leary a tight end? Oh no, that was Nick O'Leary. Who the fuck was Dan O'Leary?
Nick O'Leary was Jack's grandkid.
Yeah,
Dave
Dave
Moore was actually the 2 years, 2002, 2000.
Yeah, and he was a tight end, which is kind of weird that they had a tight end doing the long snapping.
Dude, you know we're in July right now, and there's not shit to talk about. We just spent.
I just love how you were like, I don't know any long snappers, and I was like, dude, Adam Lingler, like he fucking was the Super Bowl long snapper.
I forgot about him until you said his name. I could not think of another long snapper besides Reed.
If you watch the Norwood field goal, the live like. Fucking Al Michaels goals, Adam Lingler will snap it. That's like, I remember that. It was like, Adam Lingler's going to snap it. And that was it. So
let's get to, let's go next to your Mount Flushmore. Let's hit that up.
Oh, get that up. Okay. So if you guys did not watch our live shows that we had at Imperial Pizza, which were fabulous, and I wish you all listened to it, I decided to do all my Mount Flushmores for this entire season for the next 7 months, because the Bills Stadium is leaving us, and we're all gonna pour 40 out in its honor. And every content bro or Bills beat bro or freaking Pat Moran's gonna have like the special moments, the greatest moments of all time, and all sort of rigmarole, which is fine. We're gonna
Matt Bove's doing a pretty good series right now with Channel 7.
Yes, they're all gonna do all those, but here at Talking Buffalo with Joe from Queens, I'm making it miserable because let's be honest, the Ralph was. It's fun, it's great, but like it's horrible too. Like there's horror stories and all that. So if you missed my last one, I did my Mount Flushmore of like the worst important games that took place at the stadium, which of course that mattered. So it was great. Pat, of course, didn't promote it because he's a douchebag. He wanted to promote fucking, I don't know if Josh Allen was an all-time fucking GQ list guy or some shit. I forgot. So anyway, this one. These are the worst moments at the stadium that had like nothing to do with the actual like team or anything, like your story. So this is in the stadium. So there are no deaths, because I know that there's obviously deaths happen, but that happened in the parking lot or in the fucking creek or whatever. Sure. That's not included. So this is in here. So number one, the power goes out. This was in 2008. I don't know if you remember that game. It was against the Chargers. The Bills were like 4-1. And a fucking balloon hit a fucking power line. And the first quarter and a half were not on TV. There was no power at the stadium, but they kept playing. I remember going to a fucking bar in Queens with my friend being like, oh, we're going to see the Chargers and Phillip Rivers, and this is a big game. And it's like, where the fuck is the game? Why is the game not on? And then I think Twitter, I don't know where I found out, maybe on Facebook or Twitter or Google, I found out like, okay, yeah, the power was out. So that was kind of sad and shitty.
Sure.
Number two, I don't know if you guys remember this. This happened years ago. Some random dude fell off the bleachers and like basically fell on some dude. And the gif of it is kind of hilarious. If you ever saw it, the dude just fall. He's like sliding down the fucking like runway thing, like the guardrail, and then he just flips and then the gift goes right to the guy going boom, and he's like gets carried out in a wheelchair or some shit. I hope that those people are okay. I hope they're not. But oh my god, like how you gonna do that? Like, can you imagine if someone fell on me? If someone fell on me, I would be unconscious and be like, "We're suing the Pagulas and Ralph for every fucking penny they have."
Just imagine going to a football game, paying money, partying up or whatever, and you're sitting there in the stands, and someone like literally physically falls on you. Quick little side story, nothing to that extent, but my wife and I in 2016, the first year we moved to Florida, we go to Miami for Hard Rock Stadium. We go to the Bills game, and 5 minutes into the game, I'm sitting there, my wife's right next to me, and all of a sudden you hear this splat. A bird literally shit on her head. 5 minutes into the first quarter of the game. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, that reminded me of that, but obviously that's not as serious as falling off a fucking bleacher.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3, it's when the snowplow was, the Bills used to have a snowplow. They used to come on the fucking field or whatever and plow. And like this was around, I think it was 20. I didn't look this up, but it was 20. It was Rex's, I think, second year here or first year. It was against New England. And like at halftime, the snowplow comes out to plow the fucking snow off the field. And instead, the plow like dug up pellets or whatever. And there was pellets everywhere, like shooting off the freaking, off the plow. They had to delay the stupid game for like, I don't know, a half hour or something like that. I was just like, why can't we? This is why you get natural grass or whatever, or AstroTurf or something. I mean, you can't do AstroTurf anymore, but like that was kind of embarrassing. It's like your shit in order. You're plowing. It's a plow. Come on, you're Buffalo. Figure it out. And that was kind of embarrassing. The fourth one, I was at this game and it smelled like shit because there was shit there. It was the Ralph Wilson Stadium. It gets flooded with sewage. This was the Bills. The Bills Ravens game. I don't know what the fuck happened, but one of the concourses got flooded with sewage. I walked past it and they were closing it off. It stunk fucking terribly. I was like, what is with this stadium? Someone blow the stadium up with me in it because it smelled so bad. That's just embarrassing that happened there. I'm not sure if there's any other ones that you can think of. I know you have the memory of a fucking goldfish.
I don't have a good memory, man. I really
That's
don't.
why I said you're a memory of a goldfish. But, that's what I meant. I mean, there are other ones. I mean, I thought about the dildo throwing, but that dildo throwing is hilarious. And that was kind of rad. There was the naked.
It was symbolic of the Bills just being terrible at that time, man.
Yeah. Then really think of. Yeah, and then that one dude ran naked. I don't know if you remember that game. He like got naked and just ran across the field streaking. And he worked at the art museum or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck's this guy running naked?
That's right. I forgot about that guy, man. He had his 10 minutes of fame on Twitter, I believe, too. Didn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
art gallery the art.
Yeah, he worked at an art gallery. Yeah, so but that's a good moment, probably. I mean, I'm sure our audience likes that. But it's part of our audience. But anyways, like that's all I can think of. But that stadium, man, but I'm going to try to do those going for the rest of the season. I don't know how many times I'm going to do a flush more, but I got other topics because that's how I roll. Anyway,
let's roll into, as we start to wind down here, our weekly true and false. I'm just going to give you some statements and you tell me if they're true and false and explain why. And again, for people, if you're still listening to the show or watching over an hour in, first of all, I appreciate you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and thank you. This will be back live. Joe won't be back on for a couple weeks. Actually, we won't be live on Sunday night for a couple weeks either. But
Pat wants to get drunk, and he wants to get drunk all over the weekend instead of just one day.
I should have said this at the beginning. Do you want an honest? I owe my listeners honesty, and I'm going to give you honesty. There's a reason why Joe and I are not doing it live this week. Now, the next couple weeks after this, there's things going on that prevent you or I from doing this. This specific week, the reason why we're not live is because I plan on going to Queen of Heaven Festival on Sunday during the day and getting my drink on. It's too busy on Friday and Saturday night. I don't care about 10,000 people being there. I'm going to the beer tent on Sunday afternoon where you could get a beer quicker, and I am going to drink a lot of beer.
What's this festival called? The Queen of Heaven?
Queen of Heaven. It's the West Seneca Carnival every year. Yeah, it's fun. It's one of the bigger ones. So anyway, it's summertime, man. And football season starting soon. I want to enjoy a couple weekends. So that's why. But anyway, all right, let's get into this true and false here. And that was true. True or false, Joe? James Cook will have more. And by the way, Joe does not know these. I did not share these with him beforehand. Mm-hmm. James Cook will have more rushing touchdowns this year than Josh Allen again. Obviously, he did last year. He tied O.J. Simpson's record. True or false? James Cook will have more rushing touchdowns than Josh Allen this year.
I'm going to say false.
Okay.
I don't have any logic. I'm just kind of going with it's his contract year. They may want to get Ray Davis. Ray Davis is a pretty physical running back. And I feel like they could be making him into like more of the short yardage guy if they want to do their, running back fucking platoon. So yeah.
I think it's false as well. Let's not forget, James Cook tied OJ last year. The year before that, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen had 12 rushing touchdowns too, by the way, last year. But he's had 15, 9, 8, 8, 7, and 6. So that's Josh Allen's year-by-year rushing touchdown. So I agree. I would say false too. True or false? Alternate uniform and helmet buzz, whether it ends up happening or not, is stupid.
False.
Oh, so you are a helmet and
yeah. I mean, I do like the helmets and like, look, I'm not gonna get a new jersey, but like if there's new gear, like a sweater in like that form, like of whatever the logo, like if they do let's just say they do the old Bills helmet, which is supposed to be the buzz, like they might be doing the 90s version of it, and they throw that on a sweatshirt, the helmet itself, I might, I would give it a second look. No, I get it. I've been one of those people that complains about it because I don't know why it's taking them this fucking long to do any alternate jerseys. Like no one cares about the color rush fucking jerseys, and they've had the same jersey since 2011, I believe. And I'm shocked since Terry Pagula likes making money and all that sort of shit that they never really have changed it. And I thought it was kind of weird. I wouldn't be shocked if next year going into the stadium, they do an overhaul because it doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying that is a helmet head or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but it's like you have so many gettable jerseys that people love. Like this team is more popular than ever before, in terms, I mean, I guess you can in the early 90s, but there's so many jerseys you can get, and it's like you're not going to get another Josh Allen jersey, but if you make a new Josh Allen jersey or a new Bills uniform, that jersey is going to skyrocket. It's going to be the hottest seller in the league, and I don't know why they haven't done that. I don't know if Terry's like, I love these uniforms. It makes me of OJ or fucking Joe Cribbs or whatever the fuck, because it's basically a ripoff of the fucking early 80s. But yeah, I can understand people getting upset. Do you not? You don't like that? You'd rather talk about content, like about fucking training camp tonight?
Content. Give me all the content, man.
You're a hater. Fucking hater over here.
True or false? True or false? And I'll preface this by saying I know the answer. I think I do. You and I kind of talked about this when you and I and your wife and young Andy had dinner before we did our live shows at Imperial. True or false? Buffalo pizza is better than New York City pizza.
Oh, no, it's false. It's false. Yeah. It's good, but no, it's false. You and I are on the same page as that. Thin pizza here. I'll say this. I may have mentioned this. I think I mentioned to you off passing. I had gone to a pizza place in Buffalo I got a chicken finger slice and a slice with mushrooms. It's fucking $13. I couldn't believe that price.
That's a little pricey, but not too crazy.
But I'm just saying, like down the street from me, I can get like 2 specialty slices, like a fucking veggie slice or whatever, for like $9. And I'm like, what is going on? And I remember I telling you this, and you made a very good point that pizza is, I don't want to say, how do I say this? Like pizza is more popular in Buffalo than it is here in a weird way, because here you have so many fucking options for different foods. Like there's a Chinese, like you walk outside any neighborhood in New York, there are tons of options to pick from. Okay. In Buffalo, in my opinion, you don't have it to where you can walk out and be like, oh, I'm going to get this Asian food down the street or sushi. You got to drive somewhere. But the one thing you don't have to drive for to get pizza. Pizza's everywhere. It's like in terms of Buffalo, it's like there's a bar on every corner. There's a fucking pizzeria on every other corner. So, that's why I feel like they can gouge the prices a little bit. And then, of course, Imperial Pizza doesn't do that at all. We love them, but the other place I went to was pricey. So, anyways.
I'm with you. For me, it's a definite false. I'm a New York City pizza guy, and I'll tell you right now, if I landed in New York City right now and I was coming to hang out with you at your house, I'd stop and go get a slice of pizza before I even went inside.
Would you go to Zabaro's?
Yes.
Oh God, you go to Zabaro's? That's a joke.
I don't
dude.
know. I don't know pizza.
Don't you remember? Don't you remember the scene in Office? When Mike Scott, whatever the fuck his name is, went to New York. And he went to Zabaro's. Like, I'm here for New York style. That would be like you going to Buffalo and be like, I'm going to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, Zabaro is like the chain that's like no one
that's
goes to.
A fair point, but I would go I don't know where, but I'd go somewhere for a slice.
Well, there's some good shit over here on my side of the tracks over here.
Couple more, and obviously we're random at this point. Again, final pre-training camp edition.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, start apologizing. My God, what we got to break down? What is everyone else breaking the film down right now? Jesus.
True or false? They probably are. True or false? Cody Rhodes is turning heel at SummerSlam. We both think he's going to probably win the title back at SummerSlam, but true or false? Cody Rhodes is going to leave SummerSlam as a heel.
I'm going to say false.
Okay. I'm with you, but like you, I really have had to ponder it because it makes a lot of sense in terms of his arc, in terms of switching it up. It feels like fans are slowly starting to turn on him, but it was like that with Cena back in the day. Dude moves merch. Sure. He's the ambassador to the company. Yeah. He's the face of the company. So I'm with you, man. I'm gonna say false, but I wouldn't. It makes sense for him to do that. The double turn makes sense, but
I don't know. They did he rejected turning like a Mania? I don't think he would do that now. But I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to seeing. I know how it's going to play out. I'm looking to see how it ends anyway. All right, I got two more for you. True or false? Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the rivalry that they have right now, the hatred that they have right now, at least one side anyway, it's good for the game. Yes. True or false?
Fucking true. And I'm not going to pretend to be a WNBA savant over here. I watch clips and, it's cool. Yeah, oh, good. I haven't been on.
He literally watches all the games, but
no, it's good. Yeah, hatred fucking sells. I mean, I know there's fucking shitty, pundits out there that want to try to make it into a race war or whatever the fuck they're trying to do with Angel Reese and their idiots. I won't name names, Clay Travis. It's good for the game. Hatred sells.
It does. I agree with you, and I would say true. However, I would say this. I would add this. For it to be good for the game long term, the hatred has to turn to respect. And I'll reference Magic and Bird. They hate each other. Bird hated Magic. They tried to kill each other. There was a hatred. But as the rivalry went on through the years, it became a respect for each other, and it did grow the game. I tweeted about this earlier. They didn't save the NBA, Magic and Bird, but they elevated it. And I think Reese and Caitlin Clark kind of could do the same thing. The hatred might be there to disdain, whatever you want to call it, but a respect for each other down the road. I just let.
What'd you always say about wrestling? Like, you don't want to hear like when they're friends. Like when we know Cody, I saw the other day Cody and Kevin Owens did a fucking podcast together. I'm
saw that. I watched
you guys and it was a good podcast, but you just had a blood feud. Like, come on. Like, you would rather it be real. No, fuck that. I don't
fucking almost killed him through that.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. No, hatred sells. And that's one thing I sometimes feel the NBA misses because, the NBA, everyone loves each other off the court, and there's not that hatred. Like, I want to fucking kill you. Like, I'm going to go on your podcast and we're going to talk. Like, that's how the NBA is. Everyone has a fucking podcast. Where I'd rather have them hate each other. Like, everyone hated Jordan. Like fucking, like John, like the Knicks fucking hated everyone in the 90s. Yeah. Your boy Reggie Miller hated everyone. Okay. Anyways, go
last one here. This one's tough because you and I, admittedly, we don't know shit about current music anyway. But true or false? He's rumored to be the headliner for the next Super Bowl, the front runner to be. True or false? Jay-Z would be a good choice to headline next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
I'd say true. Jay-Z's cool. I got no beef. Yeah. I mean, I know Jay-Z. I mean, like, I know him. Like, we're buddies. Queens and Brooklyn over here. It would be cool. I mean, I don't, not big on halftime shows. Some of them are good. I mean, I watch them. They're fine. Yeah, I would. That. I mean, I think you want to get someone who, like, is gonna like resonate with the boomers and then the Gen Zers and everyone. And I think Jay-Z can get the Beyonce rub from like the younger people because I wouldn't be shocked if maybe she makes a cameo. They do Crazy in Love or whatever, not Crazy in Love, whatever the fuck their songs are that they've done in the past.
No, that's one of them. That's one. Yeah.
But I think that could be a thing. So yeah, it's a good guess. It's a good pitch.
I'll say true. However, I do think on that stage the music needs to be diversified. And now, like, if let's just say it is Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Jay-Z, by the way. And again, I don't know new music. That's part of the problem for me. But if Jay-Z is the choice, okay, that would be the third time in 5 years that it's rap music, okay? Not everybody likes rap music. That's what I'm talking about, kind of switching shit up. This would be the fifth straight year that it would have a hip-hop R&B headlined show. There hasn't been a rock headliner. I was looking it up before we went on. Maroon 5, who I don't like, by the way. They were on 7 years ago. It's been 7 years ago since they've had a rock fueled halftime show. 4 or 5 years ago, they had J-Lo and Shakira. That was fun. Pop music. So I say true, but I'd like to see it get switched up. But here's the problem, dude. I don't know. To who? Who is if you're a rock music guy, I don't know. Metallica? I don't know. I would say Metallica is as extreme. The hard rock is Kendrick Lamar is the rap music. You know what I mean? Just finding a way to infuse.
Also,
music.
like rock, like when you have rock, it doesn't look good on television. You want a spectacle, like fireworks and fucking dancers, like fucking rock. What are you gonna do? Like fucking have a guitar that has a flamethrower on it? Like,
well,
I don't know.
I get what you're saying, but like last year, like for an example, Kendrick Lamar, he was great. Kendrick Lamar's a legendary rapper, and he killed Drake. I mean, God, that's one of the more memorable halftime shows ever. But the thing is, that was it. I like a couple years ago, they had Dre and Eminem and Mary J. Blige, something for everybody. But if you don't like Kendrick Lamar, you ain't watching that shit. Just like if you don't like Metallica, you ain't watching that shit. You know what I mean? You got to get people like the Bruno Mars type. The thing is, I don't know, is it Sabrina Carter? I know she's a popular person. I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. Anyway. All right, man. That's Joe's yawn. Joe's yawn.
I got 2 questions for you before we go off into the sunset and we take our break and the season finale.
Not talking.
Yeah, I know you're an idiot. I don't know why you don't take a break. You got to be more like Bruce All Lazy and fucking do one podcast a week in the off season, for God's sakes. So Kevin, the Sabres did nothing, like basically, right? Is that kind of like to improve
as
the team?
we record this on Thursday night? Yes.
Yeah, it's so everyone. I wasn't on Twitter last week. I wasn't really on social media too much last week because I was at home and taking care of my mom and my dad. But it seems like it all is lost again, like right or more lost than before. It's like
it's
shitty.
more of the same. Sabres, as we record this, and I don't even want to talk about it because it's just more of the same. I'm talked out about the Sabres right now.
Sure.
To be honest, it's more of the same. Yeah.
More of the same. Okay, we're fucked. Okay, good. And then the second one, I was just thinking about this. When the fuck are we going to talk about Cobra Kai? Like, we never talked about. You were like.
I forgot.
I don't know if you're waiting for Bro Scott or fucking Tops presents Matt Perino to like come on a podcast with you to talk about fucking this
That's
Cobra Kai.
You say that because
I know you booked him.
Tops presents Matt Perino will be on with me live this Thursday night at.
And I bet you'll bring up Cobra Kai. You're gonna bring up Cobra Kai, aren't you? You are because
Matt Fairburn is also going to be there.
So it's Perino and Fairburn together.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, that's interesting because he replaced him in kind of and they're both and they're both gingers too. So
I'd have to watch Cobra Kai again. My memory's bad, dude. At this point, it's been too long. Sometimes I take notes. Sometimes I don't. I didn't take notes. I would actually literally have to go back and watch it.
I'm not watching it again. I'm good. I was kind of just, I'm yawning. My apologies. I forgot I'm on the podcast.
Definitely time to put a wrap on.
Yeah, but anyways, okay. So we're never talking about it because I'm not watching it again. You'll bring it up with Tops presents Matt Perino. So.
I will say for people who are around here at the end, tomorrow's show. I don't know. Is Lance Zalowski is he a future content bro to you or a Bills?
No, he's a Bill. He would be a Bills beat bro. When you're mainstream and you have a credential, you're a Bills beat bro.
But do you see him being a Bills beat bro? Like your definition?
No, I don't think so. I don't think because I follow him on social media and he doesn't post like fucking golf bro photos. I mean, that's
what I'm saying. He's more of a straight do the job.
But who knows? He might, but we'll see. I mean, he's coming from the Sabres beat, which is like 3 people and him and Harrington, and he probably doesn't want to be caught dead with Harrington on a golf course. But, I could see it. Maybe he tries to like go in because, they're more socially, the Bills beat, they're like a frat. Whereas the Sabres beat doesn't even exist. It's like 3 people and a hamster.
Well, he'll be on the show.
Chad.
Tomorrow. He will be on the, for people listening, he'll be on. I got Lance Lozowski on tomorrow.
Has he written anything about the Bills since he took the beat?
He's written some stuff, and we're going to talk about what made him leave the Sabres to go cover the
Harrington. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Mike.
Anyway, so
Mike, I heard your rant against Mike like a week or two ago. Wait, hold on. Then we're going to go. Shut up.
No, come on, dude. We're just talking to talk at this point.
Okay, so you're not going to let me have my take on Mike hating all the fans?
You're going to accuse me of no selling and all that other stuff.
You're not. No, I'm just saying, like, Mike needs to, like, Mike, I think does a very good job. Like, what happened was, like, Mike likes to take so many shots at Sabres Twitter all the time and the Sabres Nerdalytics crew, and he just needs to lay off of that shit. Like, I think he would be more, I don't want to say taken seriously, but like more respectable if he just stuck with the Sabres and stopped having agendas with everyone.
I've been telling
it
Mike
bleeds into him a little bit. It bleeds a little bit into him.
Mike should probably do what like Joe Biscaglia does with The Athletic. Just put out what you got to put out and don't deal with fans. It's
he can put out what he says, but just stop being condescending. Like it's fucking bad. Like I get like, people panic or get pissed because they don't sign a random dude that you don't really know about and you're going to shit on them for being pissed, but that's just, I don't know. He probably likes it.
I just had this conversation with Mike less than a week ago, and he made some good points. And a lot of people say a lot of stupid shit to him, and it gets to him after a while, every now and then. So I see both sides. But yeah, I wouldn't, if I was Mike Harrington at this point, especially covering a team that fucking sucks as bad as the Sabres do, I would just stick to the work, and I would not even bother engaging with fans. So,
I will say this, at least the Bills beat bros. They all love the Bills fans because they all attention, but the Sabres, between him and Paul Hamilton, like I think would fucking burn us all, like throw us in a fucking moat and light it on fire and say goodbye to all of the Sabres fans. Anyways, okay, I'm done.
Lance Lozowski, tomorrow's show. Matt Warren from SB Nation will be on Wednesday's show. Thursday, I'll have Steve Bermline. We'll talk some Bills and Sabres. Friday's podcast, Thursday night taping live at Imperial Pizza, Matt Perino and Matthew Fairborn. And then Saturday, I will be next week recording a live show with Tim Graham at MafiaCon.
Yeah.
And, that'll drop next Monday.
And that's why I'm getting bumped, because Pat doesn't need me anymore. This is like the biggest month of all time. There's no off season on Talking Buffalo. That should be your fucking catchphrase. There's no off season on Talking Buffalo, unfortunately, because you can't be like Bruce all lazy.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Joe from Queens, who got all the offense in because he won't see it for the next couple weeks, man.
Everyone, you guys can Venmo me money if
I'll be back. Brand new show. Lance Lozowski joins me tomorrow.